We knew that this was bound to happen, and this is Half Life Alyx running on PC with the PSVR2 at full resolution 120Hz. Hey there here, so welcome to the VR Tech channel. So we finally had the first breakthrough for the PSVR2 running with Steam VR on PC. And no, we're not talking about the cinema mode that we discovered a while back. So how is this happening? Well, let's discover it together in this video, with also some interesting stuff that happened this week in the VR ecosystem. Subscription service, anybody? Let's get into it. Alright, so this was discovered by Titan on Twitter that apparently was the first person playing in the world Half Life Alyx on the PSVR2 in Linux, after hacking its kernel to run the PSVR2 at 4000 by 2040 in resolution 120Hz. So this was kind of the first instance to try to create a driver for PSVR in modified and act with the kernel, getting for the first time an actual video output. So no tracking and no controllers over there. And this was thanks to all the research done from Ivory, we'll call it like that right now, the developer of the driver to actually use the first PSVR on PC with Steam VR, something that you can still do right now. Actually spent a lot of money and spending a lot of time right now building sniff boards and try to understand the signal coming directly from the PSVR2 to then be used on Windows and Steam VR to play games in a regular way, in a regular manner, like with the other native virtual reality headsets. And finding out that you can actually run the PSVR with AMD Linux GPU drivers was a big breakthrough, and from now on the development of this driver for Windows as well took off completely. So can the PSVR2 be used on PC? The answer is yes. But just bear in mind that the reality right now is much more complicated than how it looks. Because yes, the Ivory developer was able to run it on Windows directly, even using the tracking, but it's not as easy as it seems. They were able to run Steam VR running on NVIDIA, sending output via HDMI to a Linux box that had the PSVR2 connected to an AMD GPU. So yeah, that's complicated. Is it something useful right now? No, but it's the first step to actually create an actual driver for Windows and any GPU available to actually use the PSVR2 in the future. Baby steps. They were able to solve the tracking using a PSVR1 on top of the PSVR2 to actually have the tracking over there as well, or later using a Nolo tracking device with also the controllers, and in that case was actually able to play games for once. Bear in mind though that for right now we're just talking about getting video output pretty much. The tracking for the controllers, that are DualSense controllers that are one of the most interesting things of the PSVR2, are not working just yet, but they might work in the future. The eye tracking, and they didn't even start to talk about it, so it's another feature that we're not gonna use right away. And overall, while the project is actually moving fast, on the other side we need to know that the PSVR2 is relying on a display port with hard-coded parameters. So that means that we're gonna need in the future some hardware accessory to use to connect it to our PC, because that was built for the PlayStation GPU. So we need some box emulator that is going to translate the code coming from the PSVR2 and get it to our PC to be read and then be used on PC. And now, while all of this is super exciting, at the same time I really wonder if it's something that we want to do, because you know, the PSVR2 is not the cheapest headset you can get anyway, and having all this work to be done, adding something for the hardware and the software to be able to use it, well, the Quest 3 is coming out with the higher resolution, better lenses and stuff like that, so is it really needed? What do you think about it? Another big questions actually come from the new service created by Meta, the Meta Quest Plus. That is a new subscription service that was introduced on Monday, and it's pretty much 2 games per month for $7.99 a month. The lineup started pretty strong with the Pixel Ripped and Pistol Whip, and the cool thing is that you can get the first month for just $1. And if you get the entire year, it's gonna be $60, so around a 30% discount. Now, on the side, it sounds pretty exciting. For $7.99, you can get games that cost much more. But, you know, there's always some but. The first thing is that this is not really a Game Pass, so you don't have many games available to you, but just 2 games every month, so it's more similar to PlayStation Plus, for example. Also for the fact that unfortunately to use these games you need to be subscribed to the Quest Pass or you can't play them. So yeah, as on PlayStation, until you're subscribed you're able to use them. The problem is that on PlayStation you need PlayStation Plus to play multiplayer games. Instead, on the Quest, it's free to play multiplayer games. That is a good thing, don't get bad ideas, Meta. But playing $7.99 for 2 games and then you can't even play if you're not subscribed anymore, it feels a bit odd. Yet you can play good games for cheap, and that's very, very good. And always having something new to play every month if you don't usually buy many games on the platform. But yeah, if you're interested in that, I will go for sure for the annual version. So at least it's $5 per month and it seems more reasonable. I'm just a bit sad that they went in this direction instead of trying to make a Game Pass, because they have more than 500 games available on the Quest platform. And it would be amazing to have something like Vive did with the Vive Port Infinity. Where you can actually have the big catalog available to you when you're subscribed. You don't have ownership of these titles, but you know, you can try everything, see what you like, and then if you really, really like it, you can then buy it. And I think that would bring much more interest to the platform. And for something like that, personally, I'm willing to pay even more. Like, people are paying for Game Pass, and that's a great way to advertise your headsets coming with a big catalog of games to use right away when you get into it. I understand that might be much more complicated than this sounds, but hey, what you think about it? Also, I want to add one last thing that happened this week. Google ditched completely their VR and AR hardware part, let's say. So they're not going to try to develop anything in the future. They're just going to support manufacturers like Samsung, for example, that they are partnership with. Something else we see in the phone market with Google providing Android to all, you know, the hardware manufacturers of phone. So yeah, we're not gonna have a Pixel virtual reality headset. The Daydream is completely cancelled, and it's kind of sad on a side. On the other one, it's very interesting that Samsung is working on it. We already saw something in the past, and I can't wait to see how they're gonna bring out the competition against the Apple VR headset, or what next is gonna come from Meta. But here we have it, guys. I wanted to share with you what happened with the PSVR2 because there was a lot of interest in the first video and I thought it was good to give an update. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'm out of here, so as always, if you liked the video, like. If you didn't like the video, dislike. Subscribe to the channel for more VR tech. If you really love the channel, join button on there. Join further also the Patreon. Thanks to all the Patreons to join the channel, of course. And I see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Ciao.